Yeah. Thanks, Kelsey. It wasn't showing up for some reason, but all right. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning. Our September Coordinated Entry Committee meeting. Um, we'll go ahead and get started. Curtis, would you be able to call the roll for the meeting, please?
Absolutely. Okay, is Devin present? Okay, no Devin, all right.
I saw
Yeah,
I saw Devin was here. I don't know. It looks like we lost some folks when we went from practice to webinar.
Yeah, because he was there.
He was here. I don't know what happened.
That's weird.
Okay, is Noah here? Okay, Eddie?
Carlos is here for Eddie.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Martha?
Present.
Portia?
Present.
Patricia?
Good morning. Can you hear me
Elliot?
okay?
Yes. Elliot?
Present.
Kelsey, we know you're here.
Yeah, present.
Jaja? We heard from her. right?
No.
No? Oh. All right. Sherry? Ben?
Present.
And Mustafa.
Mustafa just emailed at the beginning of the meeting saying that he wasn't going to be able to make it since he has a doctor's appointment. But Devin has rejoined us, so hi, Devin.
Hello, present. And sorry, I'm having like some kind of network issues, so calls have been dropping. So I will try to stay on as much as I can.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for being here with us.
Okay, so that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Awesome.
So that means we reach quorum, right?
Beautiful. All righty. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll go ahead and get started with our theory of change. Our theory of change says that if we create a homeless response system that centers the voices of people with lived experience, then we can focus on responding to needs and eliminating inequities to end homelessness. So thanks everybody, and we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing on our agenda today is to vote to approve last month's meeting minutes. Outside of announcing that that's the next thing on the agenda, I always forget with how to proceed with that type of agenda item, so I will defer to my esteemed colleagues here.
You can do
I
it.
move to approve the meeting minutes from our August meeting.
I second.
Who was the second?
Who second?
Martha.
You can do it.
Okay.
Yay. All in favor, say yay.
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 Yay. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Any no's?
Any absence?
No. Any no's?
Any no's? I'm sorry. No, okay. So then all 8 people, all 8 members agree. Okay, meeting minutes approved.
Sweet. Thank you, Curtis. All right. The next thing on our agenda is to talk about the coordinated entry assessment pilot focus group update. I'm gonna go to presenter mode. I'm gonna share my screen. I don't need to share sound, thankfully. Is everyone seeing a title slide?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So a few months ago, I think it was May or June, we as a group voted to do an assessment pilot project. The group voted to have a focus group committed to work with me to help kind of shepherd and lead this work. And so we've been meeting since then. And where we are at now is we have a meeting coming up. I wish that this was a little bit more of a substantive update. If this update were coming in the October meeting, then I'd have even more substance to like present to you all. I'm gonna have more, I wanna, for those of you who are in the focus group, a teaser for our meeting, is it next Monday or Tuesday? Monday or Tuesday at 4 p.m. I think it is. We will have more to talk about then, but unfortunately right now I'm still in the process of gathering information. So the focus group continues to meet. We're discussing options for VI SPDAT alternatives. What I am working on doing to bring to the focus group is I'm working closely with our like HUD TA consultant, as well as doing some things myself to reach out to other COCs that use alternative assessments outside of the VI SPDAT. I just have to wait till they respond to me to get copies of those assessments. So unfortunately, I don't have all of the assessments to like share with you all for like deliberation and discussion. I just got this morning in my inbox a copy of the Portland Multnomah, they call it the Multnomah Services.
Missed.
Yeah, MIST. I forget what the second S stands for, but it's an acronym, MSST. It's a VI SPDAT alternative assessment. I've reached out to Austin for a copy of theirs, and waiting to hear back also from Southern Nevada and getting information back from MSI, the company that's created the matching to appropriate placement assessment. And of course, we are very well familiar with like the Downtown Emergency Services Center, VAT, here in our community. So those are the pool of assessments that we're looking at for this initiative. And like I said, timing, I was hoping to be able to have a little bit more of a substantive update for you all today, but hopefully next month, Monday or Tuesday with the focus group, we'll have a little bit more to talk about, but a little light on updates for today. So next steps is to finish collecting data and examples of these different assessments. We want to review the lessons learned from our own community's implementation of the VI SPDAT and also kind of like VAT derivatives that we've used in the coordinated entry system in the past. And then the focus group ultimately will need to decide how we do want to pilot the use of a new assessment. So that is the update for today. But does anyone have any questions or comments on kind of how we're doing with this so far, or anything for me? Cool. Alrighty, stop sharing my screen. And I also think that means we can go to the next agenda item, which is an update for you all on my team's work with training. Start. Okay, are we once again seeing a title slide presentation? Awesome. Okay, so as you all know, right now, the way that our coordinated entry system works, like case conferencing, it's really kind of like a digital case conferencing with a smart sheet. We're posting the units on a Teams channel. Housing navigators and coordinated entry assessors access the lists of available units through the Teams channel. and then use our smart sheet to make nominations for their clients to open and available housing units. We also know that we're operating without a priority pool right now, so really and truly, anyone who is enrolled in the coordinated entry system and has their like requisite assessments, the housing triage tool and the housing needs form completed, is eligible to be nominated for a resource, and then we tie break primarily based off of length of time. If we're not able to find a match through length of time, then we are looking at if a household is fleeing domestic violence, and if we're not able to find a match there, then whether a household is sheltered or not. And so, you know, we've been in the system now for about 2 years, a little over 2 years actually, since about April or May of 2023. And we've had a lot of lessons learned in terms of, you know, engaging with the community in terms of, you know, the capacity and like technical assistance or just kind of like assistance that the community needs from us so that they can be doing their best quality of work possible, engaging with this system. So our team's designed a few trainings to supplement the assessor credential training. And the purpose of we're calling these the nomination quality trainings. So the purpose being to train service providers, specifically CE assessors, to become more efficient in the housing nomination process. The idea of this really is we get lots of feedback from folks. I spend hours a week submitting nominations. I'm not really sure, like, are the folks that I'm nominating not getting connected to resources because of something that I, as a housing navigator, am doing wrong? Or is it just because like they're not getting a resource through tiebreak? And so the idea of these trainings is to help diminish like folks's like wonder and questions and doubt about that, and really kind of get more laser focused on, you know, hey, the data quality that you're submitting with like the housing needs form and kind of how you're submitting nominations does need some help, or no, actually you're doing a great job. The folks that you're nominating just aren't getting connected to resources because they're not, you know, getting them through the tiebreaker. So the potential outcomes from the trainings are really to help CE assessors be a little bit more selective about their nominations. Something we see too, like as I've talked with you all about in the past in regards to data is, you know, we've done better in the last couple of years than in years past, but denials for housing referrals because folks maybe don't have all their documents ready. So, you know, we're working with folks to be a little bit more selective about nominating folks to be considered for referral who actually do have their documents ready, things like that. Maybe being a little bit more selective about thinking about location preferences that are stated in the housing needs form. Are those matching up with the locations of the projects where the assessors or the navigators are nominating their folks to? We're hoping for a more efficient nomination process with quality nominees that can be matched to the appropriate resources. An increase in the reports from providers that referrals who are sent to them are for positive service matches, a decrease in the number of nomination denials due to inappropriate service matches or missing inaccurate information. And also our hope, potential outcome is that clients will benefit from this nomination process becoming more streamlined, and that they'll be housed in more appropriate resources, which can help them remain housed permanently. And also I'd just add to that too, that hopefully we see a little bit less on the back end of submission of like mobility requests, for example. You know, that if we're getting this more right on the first try, then we're not seeing as many requests, you know, in 6 months, 12 months down the line of, you know, asking for folks to be moved to another resource in the system. Some of the content that the team has created to help meet these goals are quick reference guides. So they're really kind of a little bit longer than 1-pagers. They're more kind of like 2-pagers. And the topics are about document preparedness, how to use the smart sheet, and then also just the topic of service matching in general. With the quick reference guide, the goal was to really highlight, so there's less confusion for coordinated entry assessors and housing navigators, what folks on the coordinated entry team are looking at when we are checking to ensure on our end that we are sending a referral for someone who is going to be a good service match for a project. So that's information in the housing triage tool, in the housing needs form and in the coordinated entry enrollment program enrollment itself. Just highlighting for folks like, hey, you know, if you're wondering you thought you submitted a good service match for a permanent supportive housing project, but we denied that nomination and told you that it was because of like a housing needs form mismatch or something, where these quick reference guides and the trainings are highlighting for folks so that there's no confusion, like this is where we are checking that information. And this is where, if you are trying to indicate that someone is a good service match for a program type, this is where you should really be paying attention to entering your data. Noah, your hand's up.
Yeah, thanks. So glad you guys are working on this. This is awesome. Thanks for doing that and leading on that. I know at DESC Dewey gets questions a lot from our team on how best to navigate some of this stuff for some of the exact reasons you're highlighting here. So I think it's great. So thanks. The question/comment was, as we think about this dynamic around referral attrition, is how I'm thinking about it, of nominations. Then I guess, you're covering everything from a nomination that doesn't get through tie breaking all the way to someone who is nominated for a unit that doesn't work out for any number of reasons, which we're seeing a really high percentage of that I'm hoping we can strategize on driving down. And one thing I would just like our team, this advisory committee, to think about, not today, but as we continue to make adjustments to our system, I have been really heartened by the effectiveness of the local preference process. Admittedly, that is hard to scale, and so I think there's some limitations there, but there are probably some lessons learned too. It obviously solves for the location challenge because we're talking about a specific place, but there are principles of that kind of community-based, looking at a smaller subset of people for a dedicated smaller subset of resource that has been really effective, and it feels like we're being able to connect the dots better. There is shared understanding of who's getting nominated to different resources, cross providers, across the community. It just really kind of harkens back to, I feel like, more of a community-driven kind of in lockstep approach to pairing people to what resources we have. And so I would just challenge us to continue to take those lessons learned and implement them into the broader system where we can. Whether it makes sense to scale that across the whole CEA continuum, probably not. But how can we find ways to iterate in pockets? I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Thanks, Noah. Yeah. Great things for us to continue to think about as we move forward together. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, and we're trying to get to some of that as well, just with these supplemental trainings and the idea behind. So there's the quick reference guides, and then also the trainings themselves. Actually, Surya with my team and Irene, our training coordinator here with like Kelsey and Catherine's COC team, are actually in the middle of the first training on documentation right now. So. And the topics of them are documentation, like I said, making nominations using the Smartsheet form, and service matching. Finn, your hand's up too.
Yeah, I just wonder, are these trainings going to be done more than once, or is this only going to be like a one-time off for documentation and then the second and the third training? Because I know when they were launched, the first training was happening 2 days later, and then the next training is happening next Thursday, and we still can't register for it. So I'm not sure that the folks that this training is aimed for will have adequate time to make time for this training.
Yeah, thanks, Finn. You beat me to the punch with the next slide here, because that's what I'm going to talk about, key dates. So registration should open for next week's training, hopefully today, imminently. And then the goal was we wanted to roll them out in consecutive weeks so that people are getting access to the information in the trainings as soon as possible. And then we have our assessor credential training once a month on a Wednesday. And we still have yet to, things are going to get wonky kind of in October and November, because November and December have the holidays in them. And so like, our idea was that we would have the supplemental trainings. When I'm talking about the supplemental trainings, I'm talking about the nomination quality trainings 2 weeks after the assessor credential training. So that gives people So there isn't like training fatigue and gives people a break so that if they are exposed to, if they're first time assessors and they're getting exposed to even the existence of the nomination quality training at the ACT, they have time to kind of like react and then sign up for the supplemental training. And then also that there's just kind of like a little bit of like a break and we're not just kind of going from like 1 week to the next. So we want all the trainings to happen once a month. They'll be on like a rotate, there's 3 of them. So it'll be like ACT every single month. And then 2 weeks after the ACT or about there, given calendaring, the supplemental training. So they will be continue to be offered on a monthly basis in addition to the ACT. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, I think so. Thank you.
Okay, cool. This is also part of just like a continuous quality improvement effort for us. So what we're really wanting to do is, help monitor and provide feedback for coordinated entry assessors or housing navigators that are experiencing challenges with engaging, with the system. So really, it's an effort to help us kind of tailor where do we need to. There are 1,228 people who are members of our Microsoft Teams like coordinated entry group. And there are 6 total members of the coordinated entry team here at KCRHA. And so really what this is my goal with this too is to say, Surya, Leah, Karina, Nicole get lots of phone calls, emails, asking for some, targeted support and assistance. And while we want to do our best to reach out and help and accompany everyone, really the goal with this is to also kind of help target and say like, where are our teams that might need a little bit more of targeted assistance? And then also celebrate and uplift those who are doing a really great job. And kind of like having the ability to hold them up for the community as an example of saying like, if you have questions for other teams about how they engage with this, please reach out to them and let them know and they can help with that too. So. Okay, but that's the end of this presentation. So any other questions about the non-quality trainings or?
Not at all. The last time I think I had a conversation about any policy.
Sweet. All right.
Here, I couldn't even hear.
Thanks, everybody.
This was tied to on the 23rd.
Sounds like somebody might be.
And then yesterday.
Can't hear her. Can't hear who's speaking.
Can you all hear us though? Okay, cool. We're fine. All right. Okay, the last thing that we have on the agenda today, excuse me, I don't have a slideshow for this one. But there's in June, the coordinated, you all voted to approve the like emergent needs activations for shelter programs or other programs that are facing imminent closure. The Catholic Community Services Bridge Shelter Program is facing imminent closure. I believe the last date that they're able to operate is December 31st of this year, so in a few months. We just got endorsement from our CEO's office today to activate an emergent needs prioritization for the bridge. There's 75 beds at the bridge. I met with Eddie, our fellow committee member Eddie, last week to discuss what a ramp down would look like. I believe they still need to decide when the last day is that they're going to accept referrals. It's either going to be October 1st or October 15th, but there's 75 beds total. So it would only be at most a static list of 75 households that would need prioritization through the single adult space. And so today I wanted to ask you all to vote if someone would like to motion to vote to endorse emergent needs activation for the bridge shelter so that they're not, hopefully not needing to, when they close their doors on December 31st, not have alternative accommodations and have people exit to the street. So if there's a motion to vote on that, then that'd be wonderful.
So moved.
Second.
Who said that?
Noah with the motion and then Martha with the second.
And could the motion be restated so Curtis can capture what the motion is?
Sure. Noah, are you comfortable stating the motion?
Will paraphrase to my best of my ability. I move that we activate the emergency shelter closure protocol for the bridge shelter.
Thank you. That was perfect.
And who second?
Martha Lindner.
Martha Lindner. And now you do need to do a roll call vote.
Okay, all.
No, you need to do a roll call. You have to call each person.
Oh. Okay.
Yea or nay.
All right, Devin. Can you record that?
Yes. Yeah,
No.
Yes.
Eddie.
His proxy can't vote.
Oh, okay. Martha.
Yes.
Okay. Portia.
Yes.
Patricia.
Yes.
Elliot.
Yes.
Kelsey.
Yes.
Okay. Ben.
Yes.
Okay. Ayes have it. Your motion passes with all 8 members today.
Excellent. All right, thanks, everybody. That was the last thing on our agenda today. So we may adjourn if there's a motion to adjourn. In terms of next steps, the assessment pilot focus group is going to meet Tuesday at 4 p.m. So it is Tuesday at 4 p.m. and I can send you all a reminder email too, for those of you who are members. Looking forward to that conversation. We'll have some more to talk about then. And then our next meeting, the Coordinated Entry Committee will meet next on October 23rd. So yeah.
Move to
All right.
adjourn.
Second that motion.
Great. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, you too.
you.
Do you record?